You've successfully listed your company in your home market, but you haven't found an easy way to access U.S. investors. OTC Markets now makes accessing U.S. investors seamless and easy. Some of the most recognized global brands now trade on OTC. First Sentinel is the lead London OTC market sponsor, helping companies across the globe tap into the active trading market in the United States.
OTC Markets is the largest stock market in the United States, but over 70% of the companies quoted on OTC Markets come from outside the US. And companies are on the market because it enables them to be accessible to US investors, enables them to be quoted in US dollars and traded during US market hours. And this is all without the cost and complexity of having to be Sarbanes-Oxley compliant or SEC reporting. There's a large pool of US investors willing to invest in exciting pre-revenue and even high growth companies, whereas investors in other parts of the world can sometimes focus on revenue, profits and dividends. So to access these investors can really supplement what you're already doing in your home market, and it's a very low cost process as well, which is why we're cross-trading our eligible clients on OTC.
GS Chain is primarily focused on digital banking services. We successfully listed on the London Stock Exchange in 2022. We were happy with the trade volume and reception in the UK market, yet we had a lot of interest in the United States and no way to enable these US investors to easily engage with us and trade. So, moving to a cross-trade on OTC in New York was the way forward. It was simple to do and required little additional effort, as all of the reporting disclosures needed to cross-trade had already been completed for our LSE listing and were suitable for OTC.
Everybody's heard of the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, but very few people have heard of OTC Markets. Now think of OTC Markets Group as the third stock market in the United States, and it's actually the largest stock market in the United States for international public companies which have their primary listing outside of the US. And the reason being is, if you have your primary listing outside of the US, you are afforded an SEC exemption called 12G32B. Now it doesn't sound very interesting, but what it does do, it allows you to rely on your home market disclosures. If you are making them available in English to US investors, you can have a US dollar quote in US market hours for US investors without the cost and complexity of a dual listing. So that means no SEC reporting, no Sarbanes-Oxley, and no reconciling to US GAAP. So you're removing the cost and complexity of a dual listing. Now on our market we have two main tiers. We have the OTCQX Best Market. On that market you will find the likes of Adidas, Heineken, Roche, EasyJet. These are companies, big global brands, that want to access the deepest pool of capital in the world, but do not want to register with the SEC. Roche wants to rely on their Swiss disclosure in the same way that Danone wants to rely on their Euronext disclosure. Below that we have the OTCQB Venture Market. This is where you will find smaller, pre-revenue growth companies. On this market, again, you're finding smaller companies that want to access that depth of capital in the US. So part of the SEC exemption and cross-trading into the United States from your primary home market listing is the requirement of a third-party verification, something we call the OTCQX sponsor, that is making sure that you are making your home market disclosures available in English and that you're in good standing on that home exchange.
So investors are ultimately trading the shares that reside on the home market. So this cross-trade can increase the liquidity and make the company more attractive. Companies can achieve a US ticker symbol that trades in US dollars and links back to your home market in order to provide that liquidity.
And this is why we decided to cross-trade GS Chain. It's a very easy and cost-effective way to access that large pool of US investors without the duplicative reporting requirement that a cross-list necessitates, without the increase in D&O insurance, and all of the headache that goes along with a traditional US listing. If you'd like to learn more about how to cross-trade your listed company on OTC markets in the US, reach out to First Sentinel at otc@firstsentinel.com.